battery.
Well, have you perfected your intro?
I mean, I don't know why it's not working. Like, it says it's streaming. Oh, maybe there it goes. All right.
Well, have you perfected...
Sorry, folks. All right, so we are good to go. Finally, welcome. I'm a video professional. My wife has been helping me this morning get this stuff together. So, welcome to my latest live stream. I am working on a film called Journey Proud that I am really proud to be a part of. My friend Adam Sutherland and I, and a lot of other people, filmed it over the course of last summer. It's a really great project. It's a labor of love for sure, and I'm off for a little bit. I'm a reality TV editor, so right now, working from home. I got another week off, so today I wanted to show you a little bit about what I'm doing on this project. Now, I'm not a film editor by profession. I work in a lot of TV shows, so Adam and I both come from a reality background, so that informed a lot of our production decisions as we film this over the course of the summer. And so right now we're in post, and what I'm working on is a string out that Adam made, some from group clips and a lot from sync timelines, which is great. It gave us a really rough look into the whole picture, making sure that we did get all the pieces that we wanted to get. There's a lot. It's pretty long, but that's okay. We'll cut it down. It's over 2 hours, but there's a lot that'll come out of it. And yeah, so what I'm working on today has been overcutting his timeline that he used to create the rough string out, and I am making it. I'm overcutting with group clips. So a group clip, if you don't know, is a clip that has multiple pieces connected to it. This particular one doesn't, but I'm just jumping through here to see if we do have any multi-cams. They do all have. Here's two cameras. We did record our production audio separate. Oh, there's Kelsey with the boom. So we did record our production audio separately, and that is also in the group clips to make that easier. That was an odd transition out of Wirecast. All right, so all that to say, I am overcutting these clips with the groups that we have. The way that I'm doing that right now is basing off my clips off of the clips that Adam has cut into the sequence. And basically I'm matching them up with time code, and then overcutting. So let's see what's in this.
Okay. We'll stop.
So these aren't groups. These are groups. This is where I was. So I have this video clip is already a group, but I was overcutting this audio here. So I'm lining up my audio tracks to overwrite this audio, and then how I'm going to find the part of the clip that I want to overcut is based off of the time code. So I set my second row of information here to time code from A1, which is going to give me the time code of the audio clip here. And then on this side, I set my row 1 information also to A1. So now I can type in time code on this side, and if I type in that time code, it should take me to the place where that clip exists. Sometimes you have to get a little closer, especially if there's big breaks. And actually, this is from 816. What group is this? 815, aha. So let me switch to 816, type in that same time code. Voila.
Hey, we'll stop outside the city to get.
So
Okay. We'll
So that's right. So I set an endpoint, I hope. And then I will, so I set my endpoint here. I have my clip marked here. If I overwrite it, I see that it's a group and, oh, yes. So I already put in the first part of that. So I'm putting in the second part of that. Now I'm putting in the first part. This little brown audio down here, we probably don't need. That's just camera audio from this actual camera.
okay. We'll
It's got good road noise, but I can always get that media back because it's in a group, so I can just match frame to this camera if I want to get that media back, and it'll be right there. All right, let's keep overcutting. So since I already have my audio track selected, that's what I'm going to do next. Is this big clip here is also from 816. And so I'm just going to type in that time code that I see here. Oh, look, that picture also matches. How about that?
Our first stop is the.
So that matches. So I don't want to well, I guess I can. I'm going to hit overwrite, and even though it's going to go over this video a little bit, I see that video above it is what's showing anyways, so who cares? So now these are all group clips. I can later change and match back to the groups. I'm actually going to take these tracks that are above all of that work with the audio I just did, and I'm lassoing, so I'm holding Option and dragging from the top left to the bottom right, and you see that those become selected as clips. I do have a lot of settings that are pretty close to the default, but one of them is only one smart tool at a time, and that is all my default to my overwrite tool, just because it's the one I use a lot more often. So now I'm going to continue overwriting these clips to make group clips. So this is a drone shot. I can't go by the audio anymore because I've already overwrote that grouped audio. So I have to do it by picture. And again, because it's a consumer level device that shot this, it doesn't have time of day time code. So I'm going to have to hunt for it a little bit to find it within the group. Oh, and it's probably from actually leaving LA day. So back to 8:15. Here's close. It's 0275 is the number. So well, this is 0274. So I'm going to go to my next 0273. I wonder if those came in backwards. 0275. Here we go. So I'm holding Command on the Mac to see that clip name, and I'm matching that up with the clip name I see in my timeline. And now that I'm on that, I'll see if I can type in the time code and if it will jump to the right one. All right, it's not. It's just sometimes that happens with sources that don't have good time code. So, and let's see if I can even hit +4 minutes. There we go. So now I'm just scrubbing back to get close to the time. This particular sequence is probably more rough than a lot of the other ones that I've been doing, because most of it is the A7, which does have really good time code. Like this, I see 16/12/05/18. That's time of day. So this was shot around 4 in the afternoon. and I can find that, like 1618. That's easy to overwrite.
No, that would.
So this is sunk sound. So I can continue to overwrite based on video, but I'm going to overwrite all of the tracks because it's in sync. And this is from 816. But it's a DJI movie, so maybe I will use the audio time code because that will be more consistent. And then see, this is the multi-group that had the A7 rolling and the Osmo rolling. But because I'm just trying to overcut stuff, I'm going to switch to the Osmo here. So in my group, I'm going to, there we go. Oh, something happened. I did not, probably not hit an in point properly on this clip. I typed in the time code, but I didn't mark my in. There, that's better. And then this piece here, I'm going to lasso again, and that puts me into trim mode. And I'm just going to trim that out to overwrite the rest of that to cover that. Edit, L edit, J edit, L cut.
No, that would not cater.
Oh yeah, I never marked this audio blue. So match frame the audio track. And that matches us to the group, but I want to get back to that master clip. To mark this dark blue, just to help me see when it's in the timeline, if there is media to it. Because of the way that Avid is grouping now, like these clips, I'm assuming don't have any media. Yeah, I don't think they do. So I just turn on waveforms. But it's silent. We weren't rolling production audio on that, but I have my camera's audio, so I'm right-clicking and switching these, and you see as soon as I switch to them, the audio waveforms draw. I'm going to turn off audio waveforms, but now you can hear it. And see it's got radio in the background, so we probably will just overcut road noise. But now that I have them blue, I see that there is good audio here. Oh, I'm not overcut. So I just overcut this group. And I'm going to do this one. And this audio down here we don't need, so I'm just going to overwrite it. Back to my group. And again, because the audio time code is more reliable, I'm going to stick to that. Mark an endpoint. And that matches. I can listen.
And hold. And
So it's production audio anyways. Oh, here's a fun little stop that got some B-roll. So this I'm going to switch back to the video track. Same with this side. Didn't come from that day, so I'm just going to match and find bin to see what day it came from. 818. So clean up some of these other bins that were open. 818 groups. I'm going to click and drag. Double click to load it. Looking for my time code. There I just hit enter because the last thing I entered was the right time code. So now I marked an endpoint. And if I go back to my timeline here, my patches are all good. My audio tracks are going to the right place. And just because this doesn't have audio, like I'm sure that's why these camera audios were cut in. Because this will all get production audio. Oh, but here, yep, I gotta start a new group. So I'm gonna match the whole way back to the A cam. color these all that brown. And again, matching all the way back. Oh, there's a production audio there. And find bin. Get the dark blue. Now I can go back to my group and see, now I have a better idea what clips are where. That's already grouped, that's already a group. Wow, this is from another day. The magic of editing. Like, these are all pickups that we got on different days. But Adam put them all together to make a sequence that's pretty convincing. So this is from 8/27. Wow. Kind of later in our production schedule. Coloring them brown. Did I say 8/27? Like on the last days. They match. My audio is pretty good. Maybe there will be audio for that. Turn on my audio waveforms, see if it'll draw. I don't think there is. So I don't have to color that right this minute. Where did this come from? Match frame, find bin. $8.27. Excellent. Already have that group open. And I can type in that time code. I'm going to option mark that clip because I had a bunch of filler also selected. I think they match. Mark it in, overwrite. We'll go through later and clean up all the audio, but for now I'm just trying to overwrite. So this is a portion that looks like it does have the audio is cut in from a different source on one of these sides, so we'll figure out which one. This is 0816. So I'm finding that group. Go to my multicam, but I'm going to base this on audio, so I'm switching my second row of information to audio 1 and switching my top row of information to audio 1 on this side. And then I just type in time code, mark it in. I'll double check because this is a weird section. That's just like mostly road noise. I think we're hearing some echo there because I see the production audio from the Osmo in there. Probably don't need it, so I'm going to overwrite that as well just by continuing my selection of tracks to cover that as well. So my time codes match, I have my endpoints, I'll overwrite. And then let's overwrite this piece of audio here as well. Oops, maybe I didn't do that right. Oh, yeah. So I just hit restore default patch. I think because this was different. These are correct, but this one's weird. There we go. And again, typing in time code based on audio. $8.16, $8.16. So this piece of audio here actually matches this clip hanging out up there. So for now, I'm going to overwrite that. I'm just going to do all these separate passes. So now my video I'm going to look at. And that's DJI 0586. That's 0589, 0588, 0586. So I set that to that. Let's see if I can type in a time code. That doesn't look right. Yeah, I've noticed this weird bug. 0583. That's not where I was. 584. With these consumer cameras, it has not liked, I've even tried just jumping, like hitting plus 1 minute 3720 based on this time code, and it's had unexpected results. So I'm just scrubbing by using my JKL to get me to that same time code, and then using my arrow buttons to get me right on the same time code here, 00013720 as here, 00013720. Mark it in, overwrite. Uh-oh. Maybe he was using... I'm just undoing because I don't hear the audio. So now I'm doing a little sleuthing. I'm gonna enlarge these tracks. Hear just what's on them. So maybe all the dialogue was chosen from those tracks. Switching the muting around here, now I'm going to listen.
USS Franklin.
No, that should have been good. That was my bad. Must have overwrote something incorrectly. Let's try this again. Particularly this track that had the dialogue in it. A1, 816, 816, A1. Oh, that's because I have my V1 selected. Alright. Must have missed marking my out point. Yeah. And yeah, I'm gonna rely on the production audio, not the Osmo camera audio for sync, because it's pretty far away from the actors' mouths, well farther than where I had the lavs anyways. So I think this was just road noise. Alright. Crisis averted, and now these are all group clips. Yay. Sorry, just being particular about my timeline tracks. I'm going to go ahead and collapse all this now. Basically what I'm doing is anything that is at this top level is going to be what we're going to see anyways. I do notice that all of these cuts aren't happening with the same cuts happening in the audio, so these were probably, like if I had a group clip, I would just go through and adjust these camera angles for the most part. So we'll see if that's how they end up being. But basically what I'm doing is, because this was built from a sequence that was sunk and then cut into this sequence to make the rough cut. A lot of these started on separate tracks to help with syncing, but now what I want to do is make them all on one track, not only to help with clarity about what we're actually looking at when we're editing it, but also it does look nicer, and it's less work, and we'll know that if this clip is here, it's because we're actually seeing it. So I like working in chunks. I've already overwrote with groups this section today, and I'm about to get into this big section that I just cleaned up by dragging down all of the clips that were above it. So this should be a little bit easier to do our audio cleanup and overwriting. I'm pretty sure that all of these stereo tracks down here are the Osmo, just because that's how it came in. But we don't need it, so goodbye. And this is another DJI track down here, so I'm just marking it in and out around this clip with those tracks selected, and then hitting my lift button. And I'm feeling pretty safe because I know how this was made. Usually I don't like lifting things without really double checking, but I'm pretty sure that I didn't need any of that. So I was just putting the audio here, the grouped audio, but I see that there's not a, I don't know if you can see that little G next to the clip name tells me it's a group. Also, if I right click it, I see I can pick which camera it is. Even if there is nothing on that camera, I can still pick it. But so if it's a group, you can right click it and it should come up with a selection. So this doesn't. This comes up with the standard timeline menu. So I know I still need to group this. And that looks pretty close to that. I'm going to have to look at my video time code. So I set both of those to V1. I'm leaving the top there at master time code, so that way if I do type in a time code here, it will take me to that time on the sequence. That's why I'm not changing that one, but the bottom one on the record side. So I know this is 586. 586, excellent. Oops. Turn on my V-track on that side. Now it's a group. Boom. All right, let's keep going. This is number 589. 589. About 2 minutes. No, about 1 hour. Oh, that one started at 1 hour. Oh, maybe I did have to import some of these DJI clips. I tried to AMA and transcode most of them, but this might have been, that might be the reason why that was weird. That doesn't seem right. 588, see, even typing it in, let's see, plus 5311. 588. See, it still went back to 588, so that's a very weird bug in Media Composer. So I'm just gonna JKL it up to 5311. Marking in, overwrite. See, my sync, out of sync indicators aren't there anymore, so that's good.
Says right click.
Alright, keep overwriting. Now, in this case, because I have a feeling that these are mostly groups that have been cut, like these cuts are mostly in sync with each other, I'm going to first lay over the group clip over all of this V1, and you'll see why. So I'm gonna use the audio time code as my guiding time code. So I'm gonna type in that number. But I know that my picture probably won't match, so let's listen.
Join our public for all on our journey.
Something, join what?
Join our public for all on our journey. The USS.
Oh. Mark it in.
Join our public for all on.
Join our Hulu girl on
Join our
it.
Hulu.
Okay. I think that's the same spot, so I'm going to overwrite it. And you can see, because I do have my duplicate indicators on, that is the same clip that Adam cut in on the timeline that's in the group. So these will be easy to clean up. I'll just, with the group clips, add edits and change the camera angles. So I'm going to keep doing this by the audio. And when I come back to clean all this up, if I find that I don't have the same media, I'll just go back and find the proper one. So this section looks a little more like each chunk of these is less about cutting on the groups.
Yeah, of course.
But I think I can still go by the audio. But I'm gonna not worry as much about putting it on another video level because I won't have to cut between them. Still basing it off of the audio time code, and I'm gonna trim that out for this case. I'm overwriting all this old stuff that was in there. And then after I get all this just in, I'll go through and clean it all up. So these I'm just trimming out edit points to match. Oops, didn't want to do that one. And again, I'm just doing this by audio time code, typing into the number pad. This covers two. Oh, but I think that's just a new clip that started. So actually I'll go the whole way to the end. Or no, I'll do it in 2 steps. I'm typing in time code from the out point, not the in point. Set it in, overwrite, and then I know this little bit of audio went over that. Set endpoint, overwrite, trim to fix what these were. Next event, trim to fit what that was. This little piece of camera audio left over, I'm going to lift out. Looks like it might be group cutting. So I'm going patch my video 1 and the group side to my video 2 and my record side. I'm still using my audio time code. Just typing it into the numpad. Alright, I'm going to trim these out to fix that. Trim that out to fix that side.
Check it out.
Marking in based on audio time code, and then doing my trims to fix it. Still basing all of these over audio time code. Alright, now we're to some B-roll, transition. Yeah, I'm going to put a locator here now, saying grouped up to here, just so I have a little indicator, a little red locator indicator to tell me where I'm up to as far as overwriting. So now that I've overwrote a bunch of new group clips, I can go back through and start to clean them up to make the audio, like I'm not doing a final mix on the audio here. I'm just doing a temporary mix to start getting the rough cut in shape so that it's something that we can share for outputs and things, just to make, because you know you want to hear everything at least, and any type of like grading audio or mic hits, like just take away from the experience, and it's already going to be hard to watch a rough cut because it does need a lot more time put into it to make it good. So you want to try to eliminate some of those barriers for whoever's going to be watching to enjoy watching. Like you want to make it at least not a hard experience. And this is a process that I do on my sequences for reality television shows. You go through and you find the best mics. Something like a large competition show, you know, there might be 20 people in your group, and if you're focusing on an argument between two of those people, you don't want all those mics on, so it takes time to go in there and select the audio. This is a little bit easier only because it's 2 mics for the most part on our leads. All the stuff in the truck, we hid the mics in the truck, so yeah, for better or worse, we'll see how that sounds coming up here. Welcome. If you don't know what I'm doing, I'm just working from home. I'm a reality television editor, but today I'm working on this independent film that I shot over the summer with my friend, Good People Media. A bunch of people were involved, thanks to everybody. But right now, Adam sent me a rough cut. I just got done overcutting a section of it with group clips, and basically what I'm doing is I'm taking a pass at just cleaning up the audio. As part of that pass, I'm overcutting group clips that make it easier to find media connected to the pieces of the clips later. So because that's what I'm doing next, is I'm going scene and not get pulled out of it by bad audio.
It's a hidden trick coded into a product piece of technology for people to find. David Pogue wrote about the Warren Robinette.
So a lot of this is going to get replaced, obviously, with like that will go into this. This is all camera audio. Like this camera was mounted on the hood, so that's where the audio is. I think I might go with that because it has less cabin noise for now. So as you can see, I'm just pulling it down because I'm trying to leave 1 and 2 as the main dialogue tracks, but obviously like large chunks of B-roll, I'm leaving the production audio in for now. I did go through and clean up that other one already. In this particular case, I think it's going to be easier to watch if we don't even have like these jarring different audio tracks. Like we're pulling out, the truck's leaving. So we're on the road. I'm just trimming out that audio that went with this clip. I'm going to listen just to make sure there's no stray dialogue. Stuff passing kind of is fun. Yeah, it's out there in the open road, matches that audio. So we're back in the cabin. Probably gonna start look at, I can see because it's blue, because I colored all my production audio blue, that this all has production audio. Then we go back to another little B-roll transition. So Command M, I'm gonna use to select just this area of the timeline to zoom my focus into. And I see that I have on my timeline here from my safety, boom safety. So these safeties I just recorded in the field with the audio turned down on my Zoom F8. So about half of the audio gain that was given to my main tracks. And that's just because I had the tracks available, so I thought, you know, I'll have a backup just in case somebody shouts or there's some over. And then because I do know I want my boom down here and my dialogue up here on A1 and 2 and my boom down on A6, I pulled my boom down to that channel, that track. So I know I have a little bit of blank space here. Let's listen. Yeah, that's room noise leaving.
Okay.
But now we go into dialogue. So I think because we come in the camera with or into the cabin, and we're going to go to that dialogue.
Well,
I want to find some room tone that kind of matches that.
ass snacks.
So I match framed based on the audio. So it's taking me to the group because I've already overcut these with groups. So it's taking me to that point of my group. So I see like there's production audio here. I'm going to turn on my audio waveforms. See how quickly they draw. Actually, I don't need them all, so I'm turning them off. I only care about my lavs, maybe my boom. Command Option in K will lower your strength of your audio waveforms. Command Option L will strengthen. So, and that's based on track selectors. So I'm trying to get those waveforms to be tall enough that I know that there's dialogue, and I'm looking for any bits like this where there's a dip to see if they're good for room tone.
Go around, it looks like there's large parking for a large vehicle.
And I'm listening
Yeah.
for any dialogue. There was a, so I'm marking out, I mark an in point as soon as I hear like sound that I don't think is going to be followed by another sound, like when Adam closed that bin, or Emily closed the bin. I hit an in point.
Yeah.
And there's some dialogue in scene, so I'm going to rewind a little bit. Basically, I'm looking for as much room tone as I can get, and there it looks like 6 seconds. So I marked it in and out, and I have some things selected. I'm going to try to match the audio that I'm going to. So I know I have tracks 1 and 2 and a boom. So I'm marking it in and out where I want to go into, and I see that that's only 3 seconds. So I know that I have enough on my source side to fill in some of that room tone. I gotta make sure my tracks are patched, and so I see I matched that. Now I'm gonna listen on this side to set my levels, because this is where the dialogue is.
Well,
And here I have my audio mixer.
stop outside the city to get gas, snacks, and stuff. It is going to be a solid drive to Grand Canyon.
I can listen to each of these individually by
We'll
soloing.
stop outside the city to get gas, snacks, and stuff. We'll stop outside the city to get gas, snacks.
So they both have Adam pretty strong,
We'll
but this
stop
sounds
outside-
cleaner. A1. A2 I hear a lot more
We'll,
road noise,
Stop outside.
and the boom's not really getting anything, so yeah. We probably didn't have room in there for a boom anyways. It was probably just activated. But for now I'm going to leave those tracks up, and they're all at 0. So I'm looking at my meters more than anything.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of quality difference
Okay.
between those two. Like,
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear, because all I have going to the stream is my lapel microphone.
Okay.
So I'm lassoing those tracks because that's a quick way of getting them turned on the track panel. And then I click my timeline track, my time code track, to turn off any mode. That takes you back to source record mode, out of trim mode or out of overwrite lift mode. I'm going to add a little bit of a cross dissolve. 4 frames probably won't be a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for now I'm gonna move on because this is just trying to clean up a little bit, and audio that is there but different is better than like no audio or really bad audio. So that's a funny transition. I could add cross dissolves there, and you see like now I have those tracks selected just by, like if I didn't have any tracks selected, I can turn those on just by lassoing them, putting them into trim mode, and then going back to source record mode. Either by clicking the timecode track, or I just hit Y, which is the default. I think it's that button, source record mode. So many different ways to do things. This I'm gonna do like a 20 frame duration. I hit the quick transition key to bring up this dialogue, and then I typed in 20. I'm going to make it 10 frames before, so it's basically centered. Probably won't need to render, but I'm going to change that to Journey Proud drive because it's a hard drive that's devoted to Journey Proud. That's cool for a temp.
Okay.
It's fine.
We'll stop outside the city to get gas, snacks, and stuff. It is going to be a solid drive to Grand Canyon.
Our first stop is the Grand Canyon. Do you think we'll get there before sunset?
Yeah, I guess. Why? You gonna make me take a photo of you doing some ridiculous
Drone
yoga
shot.
moves?
Actually, I thought you would do a ridiculous yoga pose.
No yoga for me. With my luck, I'll fall over the edge to my untimely death. But you can use it for all your followers. Hashtag Death Star.
No, that would
So there was a little something.
no, that would not cater to my.
My mix didn't change, but where these things came from changed. Or where the... Let's just try putting a little cross dissolve, see if that helps.
Star.
No, that would not cater to my.
Star.
No, that would not cater to my audience.
Oh, because he's accelerating there.
Death Star.
Maybe if I bring it... If there's not dialogue, I'm trying to trim it out. Like we could hide it in the cut. So I have these two, my audio tracks selected, and I marked an out point. And what I'm going to do is hit the extend button that I have mapped to my F3 key. But extend is based on in point, out point, and track selected. Because I only have an out point selected, and these two tracks, extend is going to take whatever edits are on those tracks towards my out point And because I have an out point, it's going to grab from before my out point. So these two edits are going to move to my out point when I hit my extend button. That's just a quick way to move edit points around the timeline. And so basically I'm allowing this dissolve to happen more in the noise floor than in the dialogue. For movies, like, I think we're going to ADR most of this. We'll see. It'll be based on our crowdfunding later once we get close. So we'll probably build all the underlying noise. Now, like I said before, I come from a reality background. So it's like what you have is what you have to work with often. And all I'm doing for this audio pass is just trying to get it in a place where it's easy to pay attention.
That would not cater to my audience. It would be more like he just couldn't #cling on.
And again, coming out of that louder portion, just needs a little smoothing to match. So quick transition, dissolve of varying lengths.
And hold.
And we probably don't need the end hold. So to make that easier,
Just couldn't #cling on.
like I'm gonna try to match this noise for the rest of this clip so it's not as jarring to the audience. I'm just trimming it out, see if that works. I guess there's a little bit of Sam dialogue in there. I don't know what she's saying. It's probably not important. So basically I'm going to lift that out and see if there's more silence on the end. And we caught up to the end hold, but that's fine. So that little bit is now, you can actually watch it. What's that red locator? Oh yeah, I'll finish that later.
Okay. We'll stop outside the city to get gas, snacks, and stuff. It is going to be a solid drive to the Grand Canyon.
Our first stop is the Grand Canyon. Do you think we'll get there before sunset?
Yeah, I guess. Why? Are you gonna make me take a photo of you doing some ridiculous yoga pose?
Actually, I thought you would do a ridiculous yoga pose.
No yoga for me. With my luck, I'll fall over the edge to my untimely death. But you can use it for all your followers. #DeathStar.
No, that would not cater to my audience. It would be more like he just couldn't #cling on.
All right, moving on. So these B-roll shots did not have production audio going, so I'm switching all of these to the camera audio so I can hear that. Have a feeling there'll be a lot of production talk in them. And I don't need any of these extra clips because they don't have anything in them anyways. And I'm going to get rid of this dissolve. So basically I have my audio track selected. I'm going to hit remove effect and that dissolve's gone.
This is the ultimate Kiss show.
So I don't need the gas stations advertisements. So I don't have production audio for this bit of B-roll business. So we'll probably need to ADR that. So what I did there was with my audio track selected, I hit my trim buttons, which are down at default to M, open parentheses, close parentheses, and /? And because there was sound there and we were kind of towards the end of the take, I trimmed those 24 frames, 3 jumps with the big trim button. Basically, those stayed in the edit, but what part we were hearing moved. And you can see that by how the sync is out of here by 24 frames. So I'm hitting my trim button and see I'm putting it back into sync. But at the end here, I talk a little bit to Adam. So just to like keep the audio sounding better, I'm jumping those 8 frames at a time by hitting the big, it's the question mark. So I'm moving it to the right down the sequence, the part that we hear. So all that we hear is the crinkly plastic and the crackers. This audio I lifted because I could hear the gas station advertising in it. There's probably some direction I'm trimming out from the clip after it. That sounds good. So just to close up this gap, this clip here on the end of this section is 3 seconds. And like the scene is kind of ended. We'll have to cut time anyway, so I'm just gonna pull these things together, smash cut. No, I'm talking a little bit. Full 24. All right, so now I'm into this section of clips, turning off my audio waveforms. These look like another big section of similar, they're all from the same date, so similar audio layout. Again, in the car we had a lav on each driver side and passenger side. And then, I don't know if we had the boom going. I guess we just had the boom track armed. But just for now, I'm going to keep cleaning up the audio in the same way. So I'm just going to lift out all of those safety tracks that I recorded for now. And I also lifted out some ad edits that were left over from cleaning up the audio, or the first step of cleaning up the audio. So I'm lassoing and just dragging down all the boom audio. And then here is where I'm gonna, so I overcut these group video clips to the second track instead of to the first track, and I'll enlarge these tracks a little. So hopefully you can see that the duplicate indicators show that this and this are the same clip based on clip name and time code. The bottom V1 layer is what Adam had cut. So basically I'm going to conform this V2 layer to match that V1 layer. I have a feeling if I match back to V2, I see that there are two camera clips within that. So I'm going to add edit at where edits match V1, and then I'm going to switch that camera and see, oh no, it's not a matching. So there you go. So I actually have to go back to overcutting just this clip, which is probably in the same one. So I'm looking for 0596, which looks like that. I moved my monitor down to V1. So this is 0596, and I'm going to change my video, my time code to V1. Same with this side, I'm going to change my time code to V1. So I see I'm about 3 minutes 52 seconds into this, from where this clip starts. So I'm just scrubbing to get to those, because at this point I don't trust the timecode entry for these Osmo clips. So I'm just getting my timecode to match and I'm overwriting just the video track. So I'm patching V1 to V2, overwriting, and now I see that, oh, they are separate, they are different. But that's at least the group now. So that's helpful, especially when you're trying to get back to audio, to have the group. Well, this says C21, so that's not it. I bet it's on this side. I'm just adding edits to my V2 track and then switching and noting the duplicate media colors, so I know that I'm matching my V2 to my V1, and then I'll just drag that down. So now that, because it is a group clip on V2, I'm able to easily switch between all those angles and make it clean looking. I have a, well, let's see how it sounds.
I thought the USS Franklin could join our hula girl on her journey, seeking out new life and new civilizations to boldly go where no one is going.
Well, that looked a little off. But that's because that is from a
No one
different,
is going.
like this is from a whole different take.
No one is going.
So she's a little slower there.
No one is going.
But I'm going to try to match up better her 4, 4, 4 with the
No
audio.
one is going.
See, her lips make a big 4.
No one is going.
But I don't hear it until later. So I think about 5 frames. So I marked an in where I saw her lips make the sound, and then an out where I heard the sound just because I think it's late. So let's see. The sync might not be as good for you, but I'll be the judge.
No one is going.
Sounds a little better. Looks a little better. So I'm going to do one more, and I'm just looking at,
They go where no one is going.
I think that sounds better, or it looks better. Looks like it's in sync. And stuff is always so out of sync. Like if you watch TV shows, especially like multicam comedies, I've noticed it a lot more, because they'll try to do over the shoulders and have characters, like they'll use that as a point to add a lot of lines that were probably recorded post that day. And so most people are looking at the character that is on screen and bigger. Like in this shot, we'd probably be looking at Emily because she's in the foreground, and they're both kind of looking at us. But if Emily was turned around looking at Adam, we would probably focus on Adam first if it was just the back of Emily's head or the side of her head. And yeah, a lot of multi-camera comedy shoots, you can see like this person that would be in the foreground but looking towards the background, their lips are not matching their dialogue at that point. But that's just a little thing. All right, let's
Like
keep
this,
going.
Sunny Jim.
I'm just saying, like,
There's a big audio jump.
Sunny Jim.
And like I said, I am sure a lot of this, especially the in-car stuff, will ADR later.
Like me, Sunny Jim.
I'm just saying, like, how'd you even become a Star Trek fan? Is it all for the Graham image?
Well, for your information, I grew up watching Star Trek with my granddaddy. Thursday nights, TV dinner. I grew up watching Star Trek with my granddaddy.
Just add a
Thursday
dissolve.
nights, TV dinners, and all that jazz. Oh, those are some of my favorite memories. Oh, and he loves Spock. Okay, so do you know how in this series the captain always addresses the commanders number 1?
Yeah, of course.
So the captain would say,
Little audio hiccup.
so the captain,
Maybe there was a problem with the lav.
so the captain would,
Oh, no.
so the, so,
Trying to center dissolve, see if that, I
so the captain would,
think that's all right. Actually, I'm going to make it start all 6 frames before the cut.
So the captain would say,
And should I connect the boom to it? There's not anything on the boom. Yeah. Don't have to fiddle with the boom. We'll probably lift that out and add. I mean, after we ADR it, we'll add our own noise.
Yeah, of course.
so the captain would say number 1, like, take over the bridge, number 1. And then my granddaddy would
We'll be ADRing. And it's good to have this stuff because when we do sync the ADR, because we'll probably do it cheaply, we'll be able to hear echoes and stuff because they'll try to match their tones.
say number 1, like, take over the bridge, number 1. And then my granddaddy would always say, then go do it number 2. And people hated it. And it just drove her nuts. Oh, and he would do it every single time.
I mean, creatively, that laugh there I would probably work on a little bit more. I mean, this whole thing needs cut down, but I'm really just trying to get
How was it seeing Grandma Ruth in the hospital?
a good experience. Like, that's a little click. I don't know if you can hear it. I hate them. Little clicks. Usually a very small cross dissolve helps. Some people will add cross dissolves to everything across the board. I think that's fine. I'm not there on this.
Where's the yoga?
She does yoga?
Oh yeah, she takes my Vulcan class.
What the heck is a Vulcan class?
You haven't seen any of my posts about Vulcan yoga?
I don't know what this
Don't
Vulcan
steal
class
this.
is, except that it's lame. Like the
Like Hephaestus.
lame. Like the
Look. So there's a...
that it's lame.
Like I heard a little bit of Adam's line because I added a cross dissolve here as he starts to say like a Festus come through on the A side. So I trimmed this edit back a frame or 2 and listened.
Like the
I think the cut's now clean.
Estes, the Greek god, because he was lame.
You're stupid.
Stupid. I'm not the one who chose a crippled god as a brand.
Our brand is this. Our brand. Our brand is the Star Trek universe. Extraterrestrial humanoid species. Not some Greek mythology.
That is again I have on V2 here a group clip that I overwrote, and I think that is a straight cut. Boom. So I'm gonna drag that down into V1.
As a brand.
Our brand is the Star Trek universe. Extraterrestrial humanoid species. Not some Greek mythology. I'm done talking to you.
It's gonna be a quiet road trip then. Oh, come on. Ah. Jeez. Oh, nice. Check it out. Oh, nice.
There's a little bit of a noise difference. It's not too bad. I'm just adding a oops. Undo.
Oh, nice.
Command Z.
Check it out.
And then we're starting some road B-roll. As you can see on my timeline, I've got this cleaned up and I'm still hitting this up. Well, thank you for joining me for the morning. I'm gonna take a lunch break now. It's 1 o'clock my time. And yeah, I'm gonna come back to this after lunch. I know in this time of pandemic, we're all just trying to figure out what we're doing. Hopefully, you know, you can spend some time with me, learn a little bit of something about Avid, maybe make your day a little bit less stressful. So come back. I'll probably be back in an hour. And I'm still figuring this thing out called streaming quarantine. joined me. But thank you again for if you're watching. If you have any questions, find me on Facebook. I know I'm streaming this on YouTube, but I don't really moderate comments on YouTube. I'll figure out a better system for sharing. And thank you for joining me. I'm going to grab some lunch. Hope you're doing all right. And I will see you soon. See you in an hour. Come back and we'll overcut some more and clean up this audio and try to get it in a place to start showing people and cutting it down, getting the story together. All right, well, that's it for now. I will see you after lunch. Bye.